Hi, and welcome to Wakeup Well. It's been a while since I've created one of these video blogs to share with you, and this is actually the perfect time to introduce you to my sword, because right now the planet Venus is about to move into the sign of Aries, and the archetypal symbol for the archetypal energies of Aries is the sword. My story of getting this sword is that I was visiting a friend in California several years ago, and she took me to this amazing sword shop in Capitola near Santa Cruz, California. I walked in there and I was so excited seeing all these swords. I had no idea what I would do with one, but I knew I wanted one. So the guy came up to me and said, do you want a sword? What kind do you want? I said, I don't know. All I know is I want a sword. So he said, well, buying a sword is like buying a pair of shoes. You have to just try them on and see what fits. So first I was very attracted to this really heavy medieval sword, but I could barely lift it up with two hands. And then I realized that what I wanted to do with the sword was dance with it. And so that I would need a sword that was lightweight enough that I would be able to move with it easily and gracefully. So then he took me over to find this sword, which is a Tai Chi sword from China. And I really want to let you know that I am not trained in any Tai Chi sword form or any martial arts. This is just my own way of moving with the sword. And what I have found is that everyone has an instantaneous relationship with the sword, whether it's a man or a woman, whether they've ever lifted a sword before or not, because the sword carries this archetypal energy of the warrior. It's about being direct and assertive and self-assured, being courageous. And so I got this sword and I started dancing with it by myself at home. And what I found was that it was so empowering for me to move with the sword. It's a great way of channeling anger or frustration without hurting anybody. And it also helps me feel clear, to really get clear on what I want and feel that I have the courage to go after what I want and to speak my truth and to really speak up for when I need to say no and set a limit and when I want to say yes. The sword helps me with my own empowerment. And I dance with it in various ways. Sometimes I'll work with it in a more yang or divine masculine way, working with it in terms of like having a sense of directness in my body and a linear quality or an angular quality. If you're familiar with the 5 rhythms, we could call this the movement that goes with staccato. And other times, I like to embody more of the divine feminine in my own body and allow the sword itself to embody divine masculine quality. And so it's a wonderful way of integrating within myself both my own divine feminine and my own divine masculine. So I invite you to watch the following 2 episodes of Wake Up Well. And the first one is more of a yang quality that I'll be embodying, and the second one is more of a yin, or more of the divine feminine quality that I'll be embodying myself and allowing the sword to be the divine masculine. So I know that not everyone out there has their own sword. You may feel inspired that you want to go and buy a sword of your own. You can get them online, I'm sure. You don't have to go to Capitola, though it's a wonderful experience to go into that sword shop if you'd like to. You could also use a stick or even something sharp like a knife. Also embodies those qualities of Aries, or that yang energy, the divine masculine, the assertive, the direct, the linear, the setting of limits and saying no when you want to say no, and yes when you want to say yes. So I invite you to watch parts 2 and 3. Thank you for joining me for this version of Wake Up Well.